Hey, Coach, I'm so excited you found us. Make sure you subscribe down below and hit up above. We put new content out just about every day. Also, make sure you go over and check out Teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you want to put up balls like this, if you want to win, you want to learn the game, you want the roadmap to become a better basketball coach, Teachhoops.com is the answer for you. It's a little bit of everything. It's mentoring, it's resources. Go over and check it out and have a great day.
All right. Welcome to High School Hoops. Coach, how are you?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. I know it's been a while.
Gearing up.
We're both gearing up, and Coach and I batch these, and we've been playing tag and going back and forth, but we finally cooked. It's funny because he texted me, and where was I? I was at Menards, sitting waiting for my wife to. I don't know what it was. Anyway,
the little sit and wait.
It was a sit and wait. All right. So before we get going, I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors. First of all, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. One-stop shop for that. Go over and check that out. That's the first thing. Second thing is go over and check out Dr. Dish. Always a good time, especially now you're coming into the preseason. We're going to talk about preseason today. Talk about the preseason. You can go buy Dr. Dish. They mentioned High School Hoops, mentioned Coach Collins. They'll give you $450 off. And then a couple other things that I usually don't talk about. Game Changer. Go over and check out Game Changer. It's a great way to videotape, keep track of things. We sometimes use it for practice. Go over to gc.com/coaching youth hoops. Bill and I love that for coaching youth hoops, but it can, I know most of you are high school coaches, but it's a great way to kind of videotape. And then we're going to talk about preseason today. So if what Coach and I tease you with, go over and check out winthepreseason.com. I just did a big masterclass on that. You can sign up. By the time you hear this, I'll be on to wintheseason.com. So doing masterclasses with that, but you can go over and watch it. I will put it in there so you can watch it. Winthepreseason.com. All right, good. Now I've sold everything. I guess I got to start talking about Quick Trip, or I don't know. Do you have Quick Trip?
Yeah.
Do you have Quick Trips in New Jersey?
I don't think so.
What's your convenience stores?
We're just starting to get Wawa's in North Jersey. Wawa's always been a South Jersey thing.
Wawa.
You don't know what Wawa is?
I don't.
Ooh. Well, you're missing out.
Do you know what Buc-ee's is?
I visited my first Buc-ee's on my way back from North Carolina this past summer.
Okay. So
it was an insane asylum.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So Quick Trip is probably like Wawa. I always say Buc-ee's is like Walmart and Quick Trip got married.
Buc-ee's was it. I would have made a trip down there just for that.
It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
Buc-ee's.
Well, when we went to Florida, was it 2 spring breaks ago? It was like backed up onto the highway. We're gonna get one by us at Buc-ee's, but no, it's like 7-Eleven for people that are listening around the country. Like Quick Trip is like our 7-Eleven,
and that's Wawa out here. Yep.
Yeah, it's like 7-Eleven or whatever it is. That's more national, but yeah, Quick Trip. It used to be PDQ, and then Quick Trip bought PDQ. PDQ is pretty darn quick. Anyway, it's a Midwestern thing.
Do gas as well?
They do gas in the convenience store, and they got cookie dough and donuts and all the stuff inside. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, all right. So we're going to talk about preseason prep. So talk about your preseason prep, Coach.
Preseason prep. New program, or am I a returning coach? Who am I?
Whoever you want to be. What do you think about preseason prep? And just tell me what I was talking about in the intro. I've done a lot. I did a deep dive into this because I did a master class on it. But what's your thoughts on it? And then I can talk about what I think. But I'm more intrigued what you think.
Here, football reigns supreme in the fall. So you're gonna have a lot of kids that are probably, off worried about football, which is fine. Be a multi-sport player. Do what you have to do. But I think it's important to keep basketball in the back of their minds. For the players that aren't playing basketball, hey, we need to be excited. I think that's the most important thing. We need to be excited. We're forgotten about right now. Everyone's going to football games on Friday night. they'll come to our games in a couple months, but you need to lock in now. That way, when everybody shows up, we're prepared.
Yeah, I think that's a big, we won a big game last night, and I was texting our guys about it that play, and it's like, great game, blah blah blah, and just keep in touch, yeah, keeping touch points. But I have a meeting tomorrow morning with my guys, or yeah, it will be 2 days. But anyway, in the morning before school, and I'm going to say, hey, I told them, I said, we're going to meet because you're exactly right. It's like, hey, you're playing soccer, you're playing football, you're playing, you're doing travel, whatever you're doing, great. I'm happy you're doing it. But let's not forget about this. And you got to get in shape, and you got to condition, and you got to get shots up. So my big one, I have a couple big ones. First of all, I just want them maybe once a week to get together and run a little bit. And run meaning playing up and down, just shooting. Not all of them can do that, but very light. And especially the football guys, they don't tend to have them do that much. But everyone can come before school and get 25 minutes of shots up. 30 minutes.
And
I think
that's key, is just getting them together, even. Just to build a little bit. You don't want them coming in November or whenever the season starts, and that's the first time that they're all interacting together. I think that's very important.
Right, and I think what's interesting, and I think it's a bigger part for us as the coaches than it is for them. I've already had a couple coaches meetings. I got one next week. I'm meeting my youth coaches. I've talked about a couple of things, but I think there's a few things you got to think about. First of all, how are you going to build your philosophy and your culture? Like, what's going to be your thing going into this season? And some of that you can't do maybe until you get your group and then know exactly who's in the group. So that's the first thing, I think. The second thing is, I spend a lot of time, and again, math teachers, matrices, blah, blah, blah. I spend a lot of time on mapping out the first couple of weeks, mapping out when I'm going to put things in, mapping out what we need to know, what we don't need to know. Pre-scouting the first, like my first opponent, we have 7 practices. They have 7 practices. We're playing the first day you can play. They're playing the first. I'm gonna have no film on them, and they're gonna have no film on me. New stuff at least. So how can I prepare for that game? What do I need in?
And I think that's very important, from if I'm a player, to know that my coach is already ready. You know what I mean? Like that he's ready to go. I'm ready to go. He's ready to go.
Yeah, and I've thought about that. And in the masterclass, in the preseason masterclass, I was talking about that. It's like, I think that's important, but I also think it's important to not, and things are going to change. I had this discussion. Things are going to change. Like 2 years ago, we had offense we thought was great. Didn't work. Fizzed after about 2 weeks. So we had to pivot, and we spent 7 months getting that thing ready and working on it and doing it in the summer, and just didn't work. So even the best laid plans don't always work, but you got to kind of have your questions and things ready. Like, how are you going to handle ball screens? How are you going to handle the post when it's in there? How are you going to double thing? Like, how are you going to, there's a checklist I gave away in the masterclass that it's this, like, you got to think about those things before the first practice, before the first game, because you just don't have time. Like,
and that's being sure about yourself, so the kids are sure about you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
right. Like, there's 87 ways to read screens.
Exactly.
Are you going to work through all of them? Good for you. You must have a lot more practice time than I do.
Yep. And if you go into those first couple, let's say even open gyms, and you tell the kid, hey, go over screens, and then he's like, no, I'm going to go under them. Now you have to be 100% sure.
Right.
We're going to go over screens.
Right.
Like,
we're going to hard edge. We're going to, we're going to double. Like, sometimes we've switched everything. We've doubled things with whatever we're going to do. And again, it might change, but the problem is there can't be any fog of war. There can't be any questions about, we won a state championship because a kid overhelped, recovered, did everything that they had probably worked on for 4 months. my kid was open for a second and hit the three
Yep.
or hit the shot. I don't know if it was a three. In triple overtime in the state championship game. They played it right, but I mean,
Yep.
is that what I mean? And I guarantee, yeah.
Yep.
But they had worked on that read and that thing. Okay. I mean, nothing's 100% perfect. He left a little space and my guy was on. He was having a game of his life at that point. So, yeah. So you can't have the questions about, you know, when you're getting double, what's going to happen? You know, are we going to foul? You know, the good special situation one, you know, we're up 2, you know, or we're up 3 with 15 seconds to go. Are we going to foul or are we not going to foul? Like, what
Yep.
are we going to do?
And,
Like,
and
what's our plan?
you know, aside from all the X's and O's and you know, coming from a math perspective, from an English perspective, and from a, you know, an empathy perspective, be involved, know what's going on in the kid's life. That's your chance to kind of gain a little bit of rapport with the kids. You know, those couple months where if you're in the building, it's great because then you can, you know, their classes, you see them in the hallway. But if you're out of the building, you can do the same thing. You come up to your open gyms, say, hey, what do you read English class? Like, you know, how's it going? You know, just the normal. Make sure they know that you see them as a person as well, because once the season starts, it's going to be.
And not that you don't see him as a person, but again, you become like,
yes.
oh my gosh, it's like, what are you doing? And blah, blah, blah. So I agree. I think there's a lot of differentiation there.
Yeah,
as far as a
great time. I mean, it could even be as simple, even if you're not good with, you know, the daily conversation. Who's their favorite football team? Football starting up in the fall, you know what I mean? And like do a little trash talk, get them going or whatever.
Well, it's the and I try to do this, and it's a little bit easier for coaches that are in the building, but I try to, and I'm telling you, we're, you know, even a week in, couple weeks in, it's hard. I try to get touch points with all of them regularly. Not and some of them I have in class, so those are easy ones. But other ones I don't see on a regular basis, you know, just because of their schedules or what they're doing, or
and those would be the ones that you not scream at or that, you know, you try to get on board, and they might be more difficult because I don't know you.
Right.
Why are you, you know, why are you all of a sudden coming at me? Right. I just got yelled at in soccer season for 3 months, and now you're trying to, yeah.
And I think you're right. It's that relationship. It's the it's time. The time to build it is in the, you know, summer too, but in the preseason. And again, it's the touch points. It's like, hey, make sure you're coming out, blah, 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 those kind of things. I think all those are really important. Just kind of leading into the season. Anything else, Coach, on preseason that you do that you want to share?
No, that's, I mean, the other thing that I would suggest, especially for smaller schools, you might have a kid who plays football, plays soccer, who's a great athlete, doesn't love basketball, but he can bring something. He can come in and give you 2 minutes off the bench. Find that kid, see if you can get him to.
I know.
You know, like, yeah, he can come in. He could be your 8th man off the bench, gives you 2 important minutes in a state game where he locks somebody down, and it was worth it.
Right. No, I mean, I got one of those. He didn't come out last year, and he's going to come out this year, and he's a Division I football player, and he's like, oh my God, he had one of the best games I've ever seen.
And I just see too many coaches. He doesn't like basketball. He hates basketball. So
and the part is, I'm not gonna I just approached, and he was like, he wanted to come. Like, so as soon as he showed me any sort of like,
yep,
I'm on it because it's hard. It's a long season. You got to make sure they want to be a part of it for sure.
And you don't want to break any of your, you know, your non-negotiables.
Right.
You don't want to say, hey, oh, you don't have to come to practice on Saturdays, but you can say something like, you know, you just had a football season. Take a week.
Yes.
Take a week. Have off.
Let your body rest. Let your do that. And then here we go. We're going back to work. Yes.
Make your team better.
We're going to go win another conference championship. We're going to go to the state tournament. Here we go. And you're going to help us do this. I agree. All right. Till next week, Coach.
Hey, Coach, so glad you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and like before you leave. And also go over and check out Teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's got everything and a roadmap for you to become a better basketball coach. So go over and check it out. And let's head back to the next video, wherever that would be.